Hey y'all, welcome back to Just Jasa. I am Jasa. Hello, this is me. So today's video, first off, y'all, it's December 1st. We have been really doing great and I'm super excited. And I say we because it takes y'all coming back for me to even continue to do these videos. Y'all, I'm gonna just be real. But we are entering December, and this month I have already posted the videos. They were actually suggested by one of my amazing viewers. You know who you are. And I'm super excited to talk about these topics because I think that they're stuff that builds on what we already talk about on the channel, and they're different. Right, so I love to answer ideas or get my perspective, provide my perspective on different things that you guys want to know about. So like I said, I am excited to talk about this. So today's video is called Relationship Plan B, Not the Pill. Okay, so this video basically is going to discuss marriage and how it's not always someone's top choice or priority when getting into relationships, right? So I'm going to share some of my experiences. I'm going to share my thoughts on it. And obviously, I want you guys to go in the comments. Let me know what you think. Your experiences. Excuse me, y'all. I will be really nasally because I am like congested. So if I sound crazy, y'all, please ignore me. But yes, that's what we're going to do in this topic today. So please, please, please make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, like, share, comment this video. As I said, I am Jasa. This is just Jasa. I am the beauty with the gap, and we will be talking about relationship plan B today. All right, let's do it. Alright, so you already know I got my handy dandy notebook, y'all. I've been doing that much more when it comes to planning out my topics so I can make sure I'm staying on track. Okay. So like I said, today's video is called Relationship Plan B. And what this means is, what is your plan B when you are getting into a relationship? Right? Or when you're moving through life, what do you consider the priority and what is the plan B? Right? So this topic came up because she ran across something basically forcing or pushing the narrative that marriage should be your end game no matter what when you're in a relationship. And as we've kind of gone through, we've seen that this is a huge topic within the modern day woman conversation, meaning a lot of them don't care to be a wife. Most of us are out here working and trying to be someone of quality instead of trying to just be someone's submissive pet, if that makes any sense, y'all. So my first thing that I will say before starting this topic is that marriage is what you make it, right? I have been married twice, and I can definitely say from both instances, it has been exactly that. It's what I have made it to be. And for me, although my priorities were much different than the topic that we're talking about today, it doesn't change the fact that you set the expectation, you set the standard, you set how it's going to play out before you even get into it. Right? So if we're having this mindset of the modern day woman that a wife is just someone that's submissive, that's at this man's beck and call, that's at your partner's beck and call, that is just out here missing out on life because they are now someone else's property or dependent or just someone else's priority, that you're no longer yourself, you're no longer capable of being something more than a wife. And I don't agree with that, right? I do think that, again, it is how you process things, how you look at the situation, right? But hold that thought, right? So here we go. So my story is where we're going to start, just because that's how I can draw basis and give you my perspective. When I was in high school, I don't remember how the conversation came up, but I remember telling my dad straight up, I want to be a mom and a housewife. That's what I wanted in life. And it wasn't because I was swayed by anyone or I was out here just wanting to be a dependent, wanting to sit at home, have no money, just taking care of some man and my child. No, that's not it at all. I valued wanting to be a wife because that was something that I didn't really see growing up. My parents were divorced before I could even understand what was going on. The people around me, I didn't see a lot of two-parent homes. A lot of the women on my mom's side were single moms, very strong-willed, very independent. And that's how I was raised. So when I got older and I craved this desire to experience love in a different way and to be acknowledged or seen in a different manner. I didn't want to always have to be strong. I didn't want to have to go through life or experiences by myself. And it wasn't just, well, as I speak now, I know it wasn't just because I didn't want to be alone, but a lot of it was geared in the beginning because I didn't want to be alone, right? So here I am, I'm talking to my dad who raised this strong woman that is, growing into her own. She's about to go off to college, and this is what he tells her, tells him, I'm telling him, I'd rather be a housewife. I don't care about this degree I'm about to get. I don't care about all this education and certificates and just success that I've built for myself. I'd rather be a mom and a wife if I had the choice. Y'all shook his world. I hope he remembers this conversation because that is something that I remember vividly to this day. Needless to say, as you know, we've talked about it in my using success for validity video that I believe I will link in here if I can remember what it was called. But that was a complete change for me once I went to college. I kept running into situations with people that were just not quality. They weren't. They were terrible. And although I will never talk down on someone, I can say that a lot of it was my choice because I wasn't learning the same lesson. I wasn't learning that one lesson quick enough, which involved me in constantly going through the same situation over and over again, right? So when you do this, as women at least, I'm going to speak for myself because I hate when we get put in a box. For me, it's changed my perspective on the end game. In my end game, like I said, I wanted to be married. I wanted a family. I was looking at a goal list I made in sophomore year of college, and on it was to get married, have my amazing honeymoon, have my child, and after these degrees, and have my second child. I had it planned out for myself, and I even remember telling my first husband that was something I wanted. And with that in mind, I was so focused on this end game, this big picture, that I was missing the first steps. Every person I was choosing or had chose me in that moment, right, were not worthy. And I was never going to get to my end game the way I needed to. I was never going to get to this goal that I wanted to accomplish because I wasn't even passing that first step. God was like, you ain't even learned this. You ain't even learn how to pick somebody of quality. Why you think I'm going to give you this? Right? So you keep pushing. You keep pushing. You keep pushing. You keep expecting something. And God says, okay, I'm going to give it to you. He gave it to me. I learned another lesson real quick that I was not ready for that person. I definitely wasn't ready to be married because not only did me and that person have a lot of growing to do, we were trying to do it while entering this commitment that was completely new for both of us because he didn't really grow up in a home where that marriage component was visible, right? So I say all that to say, as people, we put ourselves in positions to constantly be approached with bad outcomes or negative outcomes. And we trick ourselves into thinking that this end game isn't possible or isn't important to us because we weren't able to pass that first step. Because we kept getting bad experiences with people, because we kept having to go into the dating cycle, because we think that, oh, well, it's not meant for me at this point, right? You hear this a lot. Oh, I've done the dating scene and it's just not for me, so I don't really care about marriage. Every woman, little girl, dreams of being married at some point. And it's not a bad thing. And it's also not a bad thing for it to be your backup plan. Like, I can have it or not. Right? That's the point of this. I think when it comes to this topic, a huge thing that we as women need to do is identify whether or not we really want this to be just something that is a bonus, right? The cherry on top. Or is it due to how many bad experiences we've had? Is it because we haven't passed that lesson yet? Is it because we just aren't ready? And instead of seeing that, oh, I have to work on this in order for this path to be open to me, am I trying to force this narrative? Right? Am I trying to force it and I just keep getting pushback? So, you know what? Forget that task. It's too much for me. I'm going to move on. Right? So, that's my little experience. Right? So, I say all this to say, what type of partner do you want? I've talked about this in another video. Yeah, I talk about a lot of stuff. But what type of partner do you want? That is important. And I've also visited this conversation with my grandmother. She has, I ain't gonna put all her business out, but she was married before. She had a long-term boyfriend. He was the friend, but I know who it was, who passed away. And now she's in a state of, what does she want? You know, a partner, someone to ever be married again, or just someone to do life with. And to me, that is an understanding of, it's just the cherry on top. You know, you can go through life with someone. You can go through life experiencing this person. Like, I actually saved a clip of Lauren London. I'll actually make sure I share it, of her talking about that. And you can do all of these things without marriage, right? So why? Once again, why does it have to be plan A? I saved a post. I don't remember if I shared it on Thread or not, but it was basically asking, how is marriage presented to you? How is it presented in your household or within your culture, right? So somebody, I don't remember where these things come from, y'all. I'm really bad at keeping my references in my head, but I can always say I didn't come up with it, right? So I was watching something, someone was talking to me or something of that nature. And it was presented to me that minority families are sent to school in order to educate themselves, to add value to yourself, right? You're not sent there with the expectation that you're going to find your husband. You're not sent there to think of all the fun things that come out of it, such as longevity with someone, and not just a relationship. It could also be friendships, right? You are sent there to learn. You are sent there to focus. You are sent there to create something for yourself, in turn, a career. And on the flip side of this social scale, our counterparts are sent there in order to kind of build their social development, right? Their social foundation. Most of them go in order to be accompanied by a mate that is of higher status, has a higher educational level, in order to secure their social life after college. Most of them may go for something kind of minor in a sense of program for their degree, because they know if they get this mate, they're matched up with someone that can take care of them. They don't really need it, right? Now, on the flip, here we are, people of color. We go and we are trying to work our butts off, because if that plan to find somebody that's going to take care of me doesn't work out, or even if it does work out that he's able to take care of us, we still need to make sure we're good, because we have that mentality of take care of your own. Right? So here you are, you going to school to bust your butt. You done missed out on Jim. Jim over here been trying to talk to you for the past 6 weeks. And you're not worried about it, because you are sent there with the mindset that you need to be successful when you come out. You need to be secure. You need to be able to take care of yourself, because you're trying to not only break those generational curses of not finishing school, but also being something more than working for someone else, right? So you have these experiences. You are harboring the feelings of people that have failed in the past. You are holding on to the mindset of the type of person you are trying to focus on being, right? So I talked about when I told my dad how I wanted to be a housewife and a mother. And as soon as I went to school, I still wanted that to a certain extent. You know, I had my relationships, I did my thing, moved on with my life. But my focus was, how can I be the best person I can be? And that looks like finishing school early. that looked like taking on my degree with pride, doing what I needed to do. Coming out as soon as I graduated that next month, being enrolled in my master's program. And after this one has been completed last week, I'm already looking to start my next one. Getting in this mindset that success will fill that void. That success will fill the void of wanting someone to share that with, right? So I got to a point right before I met my amazing husband, um, that I was just going in the same cycle, trying to fill a void, trying to find someone that could be that counterpart. I remember another conversation I've always had with people, really, it was never anyone specific, but someone asked me, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to breathe. Someone asked me, why are relationships so serious? Or why is that so important? And at the time, my answer was always, I have everything else. I did. I had all the cars. I had the money. I was making good money for someone fresh out of college, someone in college. I was doing my thing. I had my degree. I've had my job situation. Then I ended up having my career. I had my businesses. I've done so much by 25 that what else was there? What was that one thing I could never accomplish? And as someone that was goal driven, someone that was trying to get to this point, that bothered me that I'm doing everything right. I am going on the path that I'm supposed to go on, that is supposed to lead me to this mystical experience that they call marriage, relationships, love, and I keep falling short. I'll meet people, they're great, they may like me, they think I'm cool, they go to the ends of the earth for me, cool. But are you there for the long term? Are you actually of quality? No, because I was in the mindset that I was doing everything right, when again, it is the experience. There were things that I still hadn't accomplished in order to get to what was my plan A, right? So all of this to say, why is it okay for it to be a plan B? How do people get to this point, right? We've already addressed two things. It could be your past experiences that make you just feel like it's okay, you don't want to deal with it. Two, it could be where your mind is, filling that void or taking up that time in order to focus on yourself and build that value. Or three, you don't give a fuck. You don't. And I envy people in this mindset that are going about their lives. They're doing their own thing. And if someone comes along who is worthy, who is sent in order to be that person for them, then they take on that opportunity. And it's not a priority, it's not something that they're looking for. You are constantly in the mindset that you are working for yourself. You're working to be this person that is able to communicate, that is able to trust, that is able to receive and give love, that is able to go on these moments and journeys, ups, downs, highs, lows with someone else and not fold under pressure. You're doing all these things for yourself. You're just living your life and learning lessons as you go. You're taking on the wisdom, you're taking on the opportunity, and along comes someone that you necessarily weren't looking for, but you always said, if it happened, God, these are things I want, or universe, make sure I'm putting this out there so it comes back to me in this form. However talk to the powers that be. I have different views too. So you're doing your thing, and along comes your partner, your other half, and it's one of those things that, like I said in the Lauren London video that I will share, y'all, sorry, really explains that it's not something you think of. It's not marriage. It's not how long will this person be here. It's literally experiencing that gift. And I think that that is the sole purpose of this topic. We get so caught up in the why someone isn't doing something that is your purpose, that's your journey, that's your gifts, and don't focus on why it matters or why you're at the position you are in. Why is that your plan A? Why is marriage your plan A? Why is this long-term commitment your plan A? Why is it that you're at your plan B with marriage, right? Because there's also that flip. I feel like when it comes to this topic, it's important to talk about where that priority stands and why it's there, right? So, like I said, if it's your plan A, why? What is it going to take for it to be a quality plan A and not just something that you're like, oh, it's just what I want, right? Like I shared, I started off because of being someone I didn't want to be alone. However, I also had to flip it. Why else am I here? Why else is it my plan A? Because not wanting to be alone, that's something I have to deal with internally, right? But then to flip it, why is it my plan B? Is it for the good of myself, my own development, or is it for this strain and stress of trying not to be, again, deal with the stress or not wanting to be alone or not focusing on what it takes to get to that point, or focusing so much on materialistic things that create value for me, right? And again, not everybody is meant to be married. If you can acknowledge that, like Erica Badu did in another interview, y'all, I be thinking of these videos. Erica Badu acknowledged that in one of these interviews she did. She ain't meant to be married, and she's okay with that. And one of those points that you made was you have to know. You have to know who you are. You can be an amazing partner. You can be an amazing lover. You can be an amazing mom. You can be an amazing everything in this world. But the moment that pressure is added on and you know yourself enough, you're so self aware that you know that it's not for you, that's a win. Because not only are you saving yourself, you're saving that person that you think is going to be absolutely amazing. You know, there are so many partners out here that are looking for the same end game. And we as people get so caught up in wanting to fulfill our own lessons, gain our own experience, that we're not taking into consideration what that other person's purpose might be, what that other person's goal might be. This may be their end game, but for you, it's just another lesson. So you're sitting here putting this person in this position to take on your lesson when they think this is it, right? So being aware, taking out the extra aspects, the extra pieces that make it more than a stepping stone. If you go through those steps, you identify why you're here. What is your end goal? How do you think you're going to need to get there? What do you think you're going to need to get there? You will be more capable of understanding if it's a plan A or a plan B, right? So that's my perspective, right? Um, because I am learning to be more reflective, I am able to say that with my first marriage, it was a lot of just wanting to get to my end goal, wanting to have this experience, wanting to be a part of that crew, and not realizing that although it was an illusion for me as being my end game, I was still on my journey of lessons. And for him, it was more of his end game, right? But in turn, he too learned it was a lot of lessons he wasn't ready for. So now I'm here. In between, I had a bunch of lessons. I had a lot of things I had to figure out, and that's not always relationship to relationship, y'all. Please don't go out in these streets thinking, oh, Jason said we need to be learning about these relationships and just figure it out. No, no, no. I don't condone. What I'm saying is you need to learn yourself. You need to become self-aware. So when you enter that relationship that could potentially be your plan A or plan B, it is something of peace and joy. My husband and I go through so many different things. We learn so many different experiences. However, we are progressing because not only am I aware of who I am, he's aware of who he is. And on top of that, we are coming together to learn how to be really one. We are learning how to do this together. We are learning who we are, right? In order to better our relationship. So, with that being said, it is a task. It is a true task. And the biggest thing that I can say is not to lose faith. You want to make sure that you were always identifying your whys. So this topic isn't something that is bashing one side or another. Once again, if you want to get married, why? Why? Know yourself enough to answer that, and not because of some social expectation. You know, we talk about that a lot. Social expectations are heavy. They are put in our minds early on, and it becomes very heavy for us in order to make decisions in the future. Why are you here? Why is it your plan B? Why do you feel the need to bash someone else for it being their plan B? They may be more aware than you are. They may be more set in themselves and where they're trying to go in life, and their relationship, if they decide to get in one, will probably be stronger than the person that is bashing and jumping into their plan A because they think that's what is expected of them. Don't. Another thing that I will touch on before we go, you have signs. Like I mentioned in a post I did the other day, I'm actually going to talk about it next month. God will give you signs. The universe will give you signs. You will give yourself signs. You know the answers to every question you ask yourself. The only reason you're asking is to reaffirm that it's the right decision. We know the answer, right? Either through experiences or it's through just paying attention, right? You know the answer. So if you're constantly getting the same answer, you're constantly getting the same signs, you're constantly feeling as though something isn't right, stop trying to force it. Let it go. Let it play out. If you are ready to let it go, let it play out. Sit back and watch. And allow the signs to play its part. Allow the signs to do what it's here to do. And that is to show you where to move next, how to adjust, how to take on that experience, because we have a bad habit of wanting what we want and altering those signs in our mind in order to make what we want come true or be right, or make that decision seem valid, when in reality every sign up until that point and even after is telling you that's a red flag. But we have such a bad habit of altering our own reality in order to make us feel good about our decisions that we know aren't right. So I'm gonna leave that, let y'all marinate on that, because like I said, we're gonna touch on it next month. But well, next year, y'all, it'll be next year. So to really pin this down, make sure I touch back on everything, right? If it's your plan A, why? Tell me why. Help you understand why. Why is it so important to you? Make sure you are able to be self-aware in order to not only be good for your person, be good for yourself, right? If it's your plan B, are you doing it because you're tired and you give up? Are you doing it because you feel like you've created this sense of value within yourself and you are just ready to throw yourself to whatever comes next? Is it going to be seen as an accomplishment for you, right? So that's the second one. I like that better. Is it because you're giving up on relationships, or is it seen as an accomplishment for you? Or are you just allowing yourself to be? Are you allowing yourself to walk in this light and have whatever is supposed to come to you because you've done your work, right? There's so many different reasons. There's so many outcomes that can come with this topic, but I think that it is a good topic to talk about, and I'm happy I was able to share some type of background on it, right? Like I said, it has not always been my main mindset, but it is something that I have learned over my 26 years. Like I said, I have had a bunch of experiences. I have gone through a lot that some people may downplay and be like, she ain't go through nothing. You be surprised. I have. And I look forward to more topics like this. Like I said, the rest of this month, it really does touch on different ideas that it requires me to be more vulnerable, right? So this is something else that someone brought to my attention when watching my videos. I'm not vulnerable enough and I'm not myself enough. So I'm happy to be able to share these perspectives and just give different insight, right? So my mindset is never going to be the same. You have to be willing to change and to grow. And change is not a bad thing. If someone tells you you're changing is weird, or it's different, or it's makes them uncomfortable, slide to the left. They can go. Exit, because they aren't appreciating your growth. And that is important. If you are stagnant, if you are still within the same mindset, that too plays a part in how you make your decisions and how you start to trick your mind into thinking it was your decision, how it was a good decision, when in reality, you just gave up. You gave into what someone else's criticism. You gave into trying to fulfill this vision that wasn't yours to begin with, right? So, anyway, I appreciate y'all. Once again, next week we will have another topic. It is called Standards of Friendship. Again, something else I have talked about in the past, but I'm excited to expand on it. Like I said, these upcoming videos really is what we're transitioning into. Is going to be more of a series type where I am continuing to build on the knowledge that I experience and I'm able to give. Um, so yes, next week will be Standards of Friendship, which is wild because when I wrote it down, I was thinking of things that I wanted to experience and talk about with you guys, but I'm constantly going through something for a reason, right? Everything has to be in alignment for me, and it will be in alignment next week, y'all. So I'm super excited to again come to you on a Friday. This month, we will only have the two SheEOs. So it'll be next Wednesday. I can't think of the date at the moment. And the Wednesday after that. For the last 2 weeks in December, we will not have two SheEOs just because it's the holidays. It's ending out. I need to get everything prepared for the next year. And that will require me to do some research, find some amazing people to bring to you. I already have my list, so I'm super excited. But I'm always looking for more. We have an entire year next year to fill that up. So please, if you're interested, please drop down in my description box. Use that link for the SheEO sign up in order to sign up to become a SheEO on Just Jasa. Like I said, it does come on every Wednesday, right? Except for these last two Wednesdays in the month of December. But before all of that, please make sure you subscribe. You turn on your notifications, you share, like, and comment on this video. If you have any more ideas, I'm always looking for it. Share your experiences, share your thoughts, put it down there in the description box. I am also looking for people to share their experiences with me. I would love to know what you think about my channel, right? So go on to our website link, which is also in the description box. And on the website, right? You scroll all the way to the end, it says leave a review. Let me know what you think, y'all. I would love to be able to use them and really promote everything that we talk about on here. And if you love it, someone else will love it. But we have to get this word out, y'all, right? But until next time, I am Jasa. This is Just Jasa. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Bye.